and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that you're on my channel, I'm Vanessa and I, and welcome to the fam. So since you guys loved last week's weekly prediction so much and you requested for me to continue to make weekly readings, I decided to do just that. So in today's pick a card reading, I have 4 crystals to help you get your prediction for your upcoming week. So I would like you to pick one of these 4 crystals intuitively, and I would like you to pick your group with an intention. So feel free to write this down in your journal, your schedule, wherever it is that you have your weekly itinerary, just to remind you of your personal intention that you're setting for the upcoming week. So for instance, if you're setting the intention of doing everything with love in your upcoming week, then the stone that may resonate for you may be, for instance, the amethyst. But if your intention for your upcoming week is to work really hard, be brave, maybe you feel as though the Cognac Calcite resonates most with that. So this is a very personal selection process. Trust your instincts and allow your gut feeling to guide you. So the 4 crystals that represent the 4 groups are as follows. We have the Geode, we have the amethyst, we have the angel aura quartz, as well as the Cognac Calcite. But the timestamps to all 4 groups can be found down below in the description box, as well as pinned to the top of the comment section. So yeah, you guys, I'm in a really chill and relaxed mood. I can't wait to get into your upcoming week. And if you're new to my channel, make sure that you don't forget to hit that subscribe button right down here to make sure that you never miss another weekly prediction. Because I don't know about you, but I always used to love reading the little weekly astrology bits and predictions in magazines. But off topic, I'm gonna get into the readings with the first group, which corresponds to the Geode, and to all of my other gorgeous groups, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello group number 1 and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Geode group number 1. Let's do a quick close-up of this gorgeous gemstone. I absolutely love the Geode. It is a stone that helps amplify the energies of other crystals that you may have in your home, in your environment. So make sure that if you want to amplify the energies of other crystals, you add a Geode to your collection. But let's get into your reading, shall we? So we have a creation as well as surrender. So one thing that I can see here that is important, almost essential for you, basically, group number 1 in your upcoming week, is to surrender to your creativity, to not stifle your ideas. So when you have a really cool idea pop up in your head, not to already dissect it and think to yourself, well, somebody's already doing it, somebody is already involved in that. I want you to know here in the Beaver Moon, which corresponds to creating, that it's essential for you to let those creative juices flow. And don't be so hard on your creations, okay? Everybody who has created something mind-blowing, something that has changed the world, they didn't put their first attempt out there, their first idea. They put an idea out there that has been worked on and refined. So allow yourself enough time for that refinement process. Don't feel like your idea needs to be perfect right off the bat, especially if you get ideas in your dream. In the Waning Crescent 3, which is the card that corresponds to surrendering, okay, the Waning Crescent 3, that is all about allowing yourself to just receive and not judge. And that is something so difficult because as human beings, we are kind of like predisposed to judge. It's completely normal for us to see somebody and to already have like their whole life story flash before our eyes, because that's just the vibe we get. That's just the kind of person that we feel like they are, right? Because we have judgment. And judgment is not necessarily something negative, it's something completely normal. If you have any type of memories as a living being, as a human being, you're going to judge the present moment based on that. But it's also important for us to realize that we're doing it and to be able to move away from judgment in certain situations, such as creative situations, such as bringing new ideas to life. That is when judgment does not have a place. But if you're, for instance, trying to judge a situation in love with somebody being just hot and cold to you, or giving you vibes that are a bit like too nice, okay, a bit too like, what's your angle? Listen to your gut feeling, and of course then use your past experiences, such as if somebody has been in this hot and cold mode and before, like all of the other experiences that you've had where somebody just basically spoke to you and came up to you when it suited them and it just didn't turn out very well, of course, allow that to be an indicator for you so that you already know to protect your heart and to not allow yourself to get too emotionally involved or attached to that situation. Then we have the messenger of air. So in the messenger of air, I see here that on an intellectual level, you're in a place where you're full of these kind of creative ventures that you're dissecting on a very logical basis. So you're thinking to yourself, how can this work? How can I make this a real thing? But in the messenger of air, I also still see enough playfulness for you to realize that you don't need to have all the answers up front or right now. Then we have the page of air. So in the page of air, this is really interesting that we received the messenger of air as well as the page of air. So a lot of this air sign energy, I see here an air sign in your life and just having a lot of influence in your life, okay? Giving you a lot of new ideas, a lot of new ways in which you can do life and move forward. So this is an air sign that you feel inspired by. This is an air sign that while they're still figuring out their life, they're still here giving you really logical and great advice and having amazing conversation with you, making you laugh, making you smile, and just overall putting you in an awesome mood. So that is one thing that I can see here. Then we have the king of fire. So the king of fire is a very passionate king. Again, an indication of somebody moving into your life. This could be on a romantic level, but I want you to know in the king of fire that you're attracting this person who is very mature, who is older than you, who is wiser, and they're always up for an adventure. They've already experienced a whole lot, at least compared to you in their lifetime. They've done a lot of traveling and now they're giving back. They're dedicating their time, their space, their life to educating others, showing others the light, and allowing others to feel like they're capable of doing the same. That is one thing that I can see here in the King of Fire that is a huge inspo to you next week, group number 1. Then we have the Amethyst. So the Amethyst was one of the choices that we had, remember, of the 4 groups, but you chose the Geode, and you chose the Geode for a reason, but it seems like second, like runner up after that may have been the Amethyst for you, or you may just have a different type of connection to the Amethyst that is intimate, but not what you needed right now. Nevertheless, the Amethyst did show up in your reading, group number 1, which is all about trusting your intuition. So that's what we spoke about in surrendering to your creativity and not feeling like you have to already judge all of your ideas or all of your inventions or just the things that you want to do based on just what else is out there, because it can be so easy to judge your own business according to what you see, according to what's out there. It can be so easy to judge your looks because you're constantly exposed to a certain ideal, right? But here in the Amethyst, you're being called to move into your body, drop into that sacred space where you realize that it really doesn't matter that much. You start to love yourself to the point where you realize, like, it doesn't matter what I look like. It doesn't matter whether this thing that I just drew or tried to create or this business idea that I had is perfect or not. If it's something that I'm passionate about, I'm going to trust my intuition and know that it's going to work. And there, in correlation to the King of Fire, we have this energy of just being able to get it done, of being able to be that person who leads, who is like the spearhead of something, and create a lot out of a whole lot of nothing, if you will. And then we have these smoky quartz. So the smoky quartz is kind of like yelling at you, group number 1, to let it go, okay? Let go of perfection. Let go of this feeling of getting to this place of perfection, be it physically, be it in your work, be it even in like an exam, you know, getting everything right. Let go of that idea. It is stressful. It is basically unattainable when it comes to looks, because none of us humans can actually stand up to Photoshop, right? When there's so many people who are photoshopping images and at this point even videos what's the point, right? What's the point in chasing something that isn't even real, that does not even exist? So free yourself from that, okay? Let it go. Let go of judging yourself for not fitting in a mold that doesn't even exist in real life. I mean, let's be real. How many people have you seen walking down the street that look like some of the images that we see in Photoshop? It is next to never. I mean, I've never seen anybody that we see on a daily basis on Instagram or that has been photoshopped, you know, in like a photoshopped setting. I have never seen somebody that perfect in real life, because we're all humans and we need to start accepting that we are perfectly imperfect and that that's okay, and to make that differentiation between the image that we create, which is not real, and what we really are, how we really look, that our skin has pores, that our hair isn't as shiny and glossy, and our skin isn't that smooth and perfect, right? So just moving away from that and understanding that real life versus advertisements and Instagram, those are two different worlds, and not judging the worlds, because when you demonize one, all you're really doing is putting negativity out there. Just accept it for what it is. That's the era we're going through, but that doesn't mean that you can't feel beautiful in real life. Then we have nourishment as well as growth. Okay, so your body is kind of fluctuating into a state of growth, and you may think to yourself, no, okay, I've already gained so much weight during quarantine. Not today, Vanessa. And I totally get that, group number one, but hear me out, okay? Growth does not mean growing in the sense of, you know, putting on more fat, putting on more of just mass that you don't necessarily want, okay? With growing and nourishment, this is about nourishing your body in a way how it can repair itself, okay, and grow, as in, for instance, creating more muscle mass. So you being able to get the most out of workouts, out of anything that has to do with tearing those muscles on a little microscopic level, and allowing them to grow, allowing them to be nourished by the healthy and whole foods that you're putting into your body, okay? So don't see this as necessarily, oh, I'm gonna gain weight or I'm gonna binge. If that's something that you struggle with, see next week actually as an opportunity to grow in the sense of putting on muscle mass, to grow in the sense of putting the right nourishment into your body, and mentally growing to a place where you're not a slave to those impulses, right? Because often those are chemical imbalances, impulses that trigger us to do things, to engage in unhealthy behaviors, drink unhealthy things, eat unhealthy things that we know we don't really want to in the long term. So allow yourself to see this as a real opportunity, group number one. Then we have the Celestite. So in the Celestite, you're being called to soothe your soul. There's going to be a very soothing day for you next week, group number one. Look forward to it. This soothing day could be taking a bath. It could be talking to somebody who you've missed or who you've been wanting to talk to for a long time, and just overall doing something that makes you feel good, that makes you feel like you're in a place of just soothed, is that even a word? Soothed energy. You know what I mean, group number one. Then last but not least, we have the Agate, which is all about getting back into balance. I want you to know here in the Agate that next week is really like a reset week for you. It's a week where you can say, okay, I'm starting afresh, I'm starting from zero, and I won't judge, because judgment has done nothing good, and the best I can do now is to just live in the now and move forward in a less judgmental place with myself, with other people, and to just get back into balance. Because when you're too focused on one little aspect, such as getting something perfect, be it physically, be it academically, be it in your job, you tip out of balance because you can't see the big picture. But next week is a great time for you to reset and for you to allow that soothing energy from a friend of yours, from a family member, from just taking a bath, doing some self-care to bring you back into balance so you can really get back on your grind, group number 1. So this is the reading that I received for you, group number 1. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. If you made it all the way to the end, leave a little tornado emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know. So I wish you a highly successful and just nourishing week, and I will see you in my next video. Hello, group number 2, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Amethyst, group number 2, which is such a gorgeous gemstone. Let's do a quick close-up. I absolutely love the amethyst. It is a stone that brings out your psychic properties as well as your intuition, which is most likely exactly what you need next week. But let's figure out what's going on for you, shall we? So we have the waning crescent 1, we have the dark moon, as well as the green corn moon. So let's get right into it with the green corn moon, shall we? So the green corn moon, you may have heard of this before, but maybe not. It is a moon that speaks of patience. It is a moon that is trying to kind of push you to be patient with yourself as well as the people around you. As I can see here in the dark moon, that there is kind of like a void that is attempting to fill itself up. So if you feel like you've had a void where really your heart should be group number 2, or where really you should feel close to another human being or close to your family, and you feel like that void has been there, almost like a gaping hole in your chest for a long time, I want you to know here in the green corn moon in correlation to the dark moon that that is what you're working on. That is what you're subconsciously trying to fill up next week, which can be a confusing and a painful process. But I want you to know here in the waning crescent 1 that you're being protected, that just like this person who is being carried and protected by this bird, feel the same way. See how she's almost like in child's pose, almost just in this very like fetus-like position and just not worried about being carried around. I want you to have that same feeling for yourself. Don't worry about how it comes off or what you're going through or the fact that your emotions are a little bit all over the place next week, group number 2. Allow yourself to know that this is part of your process and that next week is a great week for that void, for that hole to start to be stuffed again, okay? To start to fill itself up with love, with gratitude, with emotions that make you feel reconnected, even if it's not quite where you need it to be, but at least it's a start, right? At least it's an improvement. Then we have the tiger's eye. So in the tiger's eye, we have you facing those fears, right? Especially if you've been feeling a void in a partnership or a connection with a friend, a family member. It can be something that you're fearful to address out of fear of not being understood, right? Or being judged, or just starting a argument, a conversation that isn't pleasant. And I see here in the tiger's eye that you really have no choice other than to face those emotions. So not necessarily to face them or to get in a big discussion with them, but those emotions are resurfacing and you're being called to face them. You're being called to deal with them, to not just ignore them, but instead to allow this hole, to allow this void to be open so that it can actually be reached by you, so that you can actually give yourself that patience and give yourself a little bit of time to just let it fill itself up, to just let the well kind of receive more nourishment. Then we have the fluorite. In the fluorite, one thing that I can see is you finding a lot of peace in this process next week. So next week, the beginning is going to be a little bit crazy. It's going to feel like your emotions are all over the place and like you just don't even want to be here next week, quite frankly speaking, group number 2. So I want you to know here in the fluorite, this actually looks like a rainbow fluorite, that you can find that peace within you towards the end of next week of knowing that this is a good part of your process. This is an amazing start. This is an amazing point to be at, and you're exactly where you need to be in your process of healing and your process of reconciliation. Then we have the black kyanite. So in the black kyanite, you're being called to set really strong boundaries next week, so to not allow any negativity near you during such a transformative stage, which I feel like goes without say. But of course, your angels, your guides are here to put it straight in your reading, to remind you and to not give you an excuse to talk to that friend who is just drama, or to allow yourself to be triggered by somebody's words, be it, you know, something that someone is saying that you don't agree with, that they know irks you, or just overall a situation that is annoying to you, that makes you speak up. Don't get triggered. Allow yourself to set strong boundaries, because you're going through your own process and you need that strength for you, not for any other discussion or anybody else. Then we have the Page of Water. So the Page of Water speaks of you being in a place emotionally and mentally where you're kind of like at the beginning, if you will, where you're kind of like figuring things out for yourself, where you stand, how you feel about your new reality. So the Page of Water is kind of very young, if you will, naive, maybe a little bit, how should I say, very playful in a way as well. So the best way for you really to deal with next week, group number 2, is to take things in a playful manner and to have fun. So instead of thinking to yourself, great, I feel sad, I'm maybe even crying, my face is a mess, I'm just a sobby little potato, instead of thinking that, just have fun, just laugh at yourself and say to yourself, God, how human of me to cry, to feel these emotions. I bet my dog or my cat thinks that I'm crazy or, you know, a little drama queen. Just make light of the situation however you can, however feels right for you, and allow yourself to know that in the grand scheme, letting out these emotions is a good thing. And you'll be able to look back and think to yourself, oh, I'm glad I let it all out. I'm glad I didn't let that energy just remain stagnant and build up. Then we have the Queen of Air. So the Queen of Air is a very kind of stern queen, and in correlation to being here right next to the black kyanite, I see that you have to keep this person away from you. So if you, for instance, have a parent or a friend who is there for you, but still their words can be very harsh, or can be maybe a little bit too judgmental, or a little bit too black and white, too close-minded, next week is not the best time to hang out with them. Try and postpone it to another time when you're in a less vulnerable position. As I can see here in the Queen of Air, that will kind of derail you. It will make you feel a little bit insecure about your progress and yourself. So it's best to keep a little bit of security distance so that you don't end up just completely losing it emotionally, group number 2. Then we have the Six of Air. So in the Six of Air, I see rapid movement as well as complete alignment with what you're trying to accomplish, with your wants, your needs, and your actions, which is great, which shows that you are taking real action, you are taking real steps towards your best version, towards your best self, and you're taking real action towards creating the life that you desire and actually living in the moment and saying, oh, I love my life. This is part of the life that I desire. Understanding that you're exactly where you're meant to be. Then we have the Frog Spirit as well as the Fox Spirit. So in the Frog Spirit, clearing out clutter is very therapeutic next week, especially if you usually don't like to clean. This is something you should engage in. This is something that can take your mind off of things, and you can also kind of meditate while cleaning. That is one thing that I love to do when I'm really not in the mood to clean, to tidy up. I just think to myself, how can I make use of this in a way that I get more out of it than just a clean home, which of course just having a clean home is more than enough, but as human beings, you know how we are, group number 2. We always strive for more. We always want the next thing or the better version. And the Fox Spirit, I see here thinking on your feet, being very quick to react. So when it comes to your work, when it comes to all of your responsibilities, you're very quick. You're not allowing where you're at emotionally or the trauma that you're working on, the void that you're filling, to stand in the way of actually getting things done. You're all about your bag, you're all about your business, and that is one area of your life that you don't need to worry about next week. Things are moving as they should because you are devoted, because you're thinking on your feet, you're making sure that you're staying in the loop, and you're following up with what it is that you know needs following up with. So group number 2, if you made it to the end of your reading, leave a fox emoji down below in the comment section to let me and everybody else know. I hope that you found this reading insightful. I hope that you found it motivational, and I will catch you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Angel Aura Quartz, group number 3. This is the first time I've actually ever introduced a sphere into the choices that you can make. Let me do a quick close-up of the stone. My studio lighting really doesn't do it justice. This stone, this crystal, is so gorgeous. It glistens in all types of rainbow colors, and I absolutely love it. This is a stone that literally makes every type of home decor, any type of setup that you have, an altar, just an area where you keep crystals. This just brings it to the next level. I absolutely love these spheres, so I just hope it'll stay in place for us while we know, okay, it really doesn't want to. So let's just stabilize it a little bit, shall we? So I just put some dice right there to stop it. So if you are interested in an Angel Aura sphere, or really any other crystal ball, I will leave the link down below. The Angel Aura is really hard to find, so I really just only have a very limited supply because it's a very high quality and difficult to find type of stone. So act quickly and don't say I didn't tell you so, but let's move into your reading to figure out exactly what's coming next week. So we have the Waning Gibbous One as well as the Hunter Moon. So in the Hunter Moon, I see abundance coming towards you. I see in the Hunter Moon that in the earthly realms, you're receiving an unexpected gift that is financial or just of the material realm, okay? Allowing yourself to feel like you live a life full of bounty, like you live a life that is limitless. That is one thing that I see you just stopping and taking a moment to feel and be present with that thought. Then in the Waning Gibbous One, there is a lot of time and a lot of need for self-reflection. So to just understand how much further you can take this thing called life, how much more you can get out of life, both physically, emotionally, spiritually. I see here in self-reflection that you sometimes feel like there are so many things that you want to do in this lifetime that it's overwhelming, and it seems like you might never be able to finish your laundry list. But keep in mind that the things, we often overestimate the things we can accomplish, say in a year, when we set our goals for just a year, and then we underestimate how much can happen, how much can change in a decade. So keep that in mind and allow yourself to know that you don't have to do everything, say in a year. You don't have to have accomplished everything in a quote-unquote feasible time frame. It can take a little bit longer, and that is fine. Then we have the Selenite next, which is all about clearing up your clutter, clearing up that chair, that rug, that area in your room, that corner, that drawer that is full of clutter. Group number 3, no more excuses. Clean up, okay? Declutter. Get out your bin bag and just throw things in there that you know you haven't looked at in years, because we all have those things. We're all guilty of leaving them to lie around, even though they don't resonate with us. So next week, clear out some clutter. Even if it's just a few pieces, that's already progress. Then we have the Appetite. So in the Appetite, I see you getting out of your comfort zone next week, and getting out of your comfort zone in a way that kind of sparks this emotion of calmness. So do you know those situations that seem like they would be so stressful, but actually when you're in them, you're just focused on the task at hand? So it could be, for instance, running a marathon, doing bungee jumping, just something that takes a lot of energy, or you would think would take a lot of energy and be competitive or stressful. But once you're in it, even for instance, an exam exam, all of a sudden it's like your pulse, like everything just goes into like hibernation mood, and you're just focused on the task at hand. It's like you zone out of your body and completely into the present moment in your mind. So I see a great space for you to do that next week. So take it when the opportunity arises. Then we have the garnet as well as the azurite. Group number 3, in the azurite, I see you getting laser focused due to that, due to having that time, that space to be in the moment. You are now moving into a space where you're like, I can focus. The more I move into stillness and being in the moment, the more I understand just how much more focus I can put into my life, into the things that I desire, in order to get the results that I want. In the garnet, I see you here igniting your passions, focusing on your passions, getting back into old passions. So if you, for instance, put down that musical instrument, or you stopped drawing, you stopped being creative in different ways that you used to love being creative, next week you're rediscovering some of that and you're getting back into it. But try to make it not something that just happens next week. Try to actually maybe put it in your schedule and your itinerary, carve a little bit of time out to be consistent with your hobbies and your passions, especially the long lost ones, because sometimes you just need to make it a habit to have your body start craving it, especially if it's something that's good for you. For instance, for me, working out isn't easy when you fall out of line, right? When you haven't properly worked out or had a real routine in months or years or weeks, however long, and you want to get back into it, you just need to get through that first little bit till your body starts to crave it, till your body starts to want to feel the sweat drip off of it. So that is, of course, just an example, but this is something that can motivate you and remind you that you just need to get into the flow in order to make it a habit. Then we have the electric eel spirit. So in the electric eel spirit, we have this very intense energy, this energy that is almost like electrified to get these things done and actually be on the ball. So I don't need to motivate you. You have plenty of motivation next week, group number 3, which is awesome. And it may stem from the place that you have this little bit of extra abundance come into your life and you're like, yeah, I want to make the most out of it and I want to attract more. Then we have the buffalo spirit. So in the buffalo spirit, I can see here that the universe is especially abundant for you and especially in the mood to provide for you, group number 3. So what did you do to get the universe to feel that way about you? I mean, I don't know, you know, maybe you've really been manifesting in a more effective way. Maybe you've just been letting go of negative thoughts or patterns or even people, and now you're in a place where you can enjoy that. So that's really awesome. If you made it to this point in the reading, leave a little cow emoji down below. I know we do have the buffalo spirit for you, group number 3, but the cow is again a symbol of abundance as well as material wealth, which that is never bad, right? That's something that we love. Spirituality is all about abundance in all areas of life, not just spiritual, not just mental, also material abundance if that's what you desire. Then we have the 3 of water, and the 3 of water, you're having fun. Group number 3 next week is a great week for you. I see you having a good time and seeing light even in darkness. So just because you're having a good week doesn't mean that you don't have your ups and downs, but you're seeing your ups and downs as part of life. You're coming to an understanding that life really is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you react to it, and you're choosing to react in a confident, loving, and lighthearted way when there are any difficulties that are being thrown in your direction. Then we have the King of Earth. So the King of Earth is an indicator of somebody stepping into your life who inspires you in the earthly realm. So just having that little taste of what it's like to have more abundance inspires you to look into autobiographies, podcasts, just the life of people who have what you desire in the earthly realms. It could be limitless amounts of time to do the things that you're really passionate about. It could be endless amounts of fortune, you know, material wealth, financial wealth. Either way, in the King of Earth, I definitely see a big inspiration coming your way that is going to give you a piece of information, that is going to give you knowledge that you're taking along with you on your journey, okay, for the next years. Like, for instance, for me, reading books by Robert Kiyosaki, it just gave me this one time, and I can remember it like it was yesterday when I was reading the chapter about how, for instance, your house isn't an asset if it's costing you a lot of money, right? Even if it's your house. If it just takes money out of your pocket, whether it's a car, whether it's a house, it's not a real asset. An asset is supposed to put money in your pocket. That would be a liability, right? It's a liability if you are losing money because of it. So just all of those types of epiphanies in the earthly realms are things that you can get the more you delve into how people have done it who have come before you, how people see things and change their viewpoint to what is not conventional, but it makes sense, just like the whole thing with the asset, right? Then we have the Two of Air. So in the Two of Air, group number 3, one thing that I can see here is just a little bit of indecisiveness, okay? I can see that it can be hard for you to make up your mind what advice you want to listen to and what advice that you feel you're kind of a little bit over. But I want you to know here in the Two of Air that this decision doesn't need to be made immediately. If you're, for instance, trying to decide what you will do in order to set yourself up financially, or what book you want to purchase, what podcast you want to tune into more, try to like accommodate as many things as possible, but also know you have a lifetime of time for these things. So you can focus on one thing at a time. You don't necessarily have to make up your mind. You can really indulge in multiple things. Just give it a little bit of space and put real goals down for yourself every week. For instance, if you want to read a book a week, actually track your progress, actually write it down in your journal, make sure that you stick to it, or at least encourage yourself to do it, because you know you'll feel proud once you've actually accomplished that. So group number 3, this is the reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you found it insightful, inspiring, and that you enjoyed it. I'm wishing you an amazing week. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I'll see you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Cognac Calcite, group number 4, which is such a gorgeous gemstone. I absolutely love the way it just has this honey color. It is a very soothing stone. It is a stone that allows you to get back to your equilibrium, which is most likely what you need for your upcoming week. But let's move into your reading to figure out exactly what is coming towards you. So we have the waxing gibbous 4 as well as the blue moon. So let's move into the blue moon. Once in a blue moon is something that I feel like we've all heard, and it means kind of the unexpected, right? Something coming towards you that is unusual, that doesn't happen on a daily basis or even a weekly basis, since blue moons are definitely not occurrences that happen every few weeks. So I want you to know here in the blue moon to expect the unexpected, something happening that you absolutely did not dream of happening, and just profound change coming towards you next week. So an event that makes you feel like this is a turning point, that makes you feel like, wow, this is something that I never thought would come at this point, but it did, right? Unexpected. Then in the waxing gibbous 4, I do see here that you're going to be called up to show how willing you are to dedicate time to this cause, to dedicate time to the unexpected that is coming up. So it could, for instance, be an unexpected piece of information about an opportunity that you've been wanting to see through. It could be something like adopting an animal, all the way to a business opportunity that you did not expect to come towards you so soon or so quickly, or maybe ever, okay? And your will is going to be tested. The same goes for love, an opportunity to be with somebody, to commit to someone, and you have to decide whether you're going to put that energy down, put it on the table, and invest it in that situation, or whether you're going to allow the unexpected to have happened and passed by again, gone by. So in order to make it stay, in order to have it be a permanent part of your life, you're going to have to put in a little bit of work to keep the unexpected around. But I think you understand what I mean, group number 4. Then we have the black kyanite. So in the black kyanite, I see you needing to set strong boundaries around those energy vampires. Group number 4, you know exactly who I mean. Somebody probably just popped in your head right now a thought of another person. Let's actually figure out exactly who that person is, because you may have multiple energy vampires in your life and you're like, okay, cool girl, which one? Okay, because my whole family is full of energy vampires, or my friend circle, or my work. I mean, we all have different situations that we wish we could avoid or have less energy vampires around us, but it's not always that easy. In the 5 of Fire, I see somebody who is just constantly looking for conflict, somebody who is constantly going from 0 to 1,000,000, constantly easily agitated, and feels as though their unsolicited advice is for some reason okay, or for some reason something you might appreciate when, you know, telling you how you're not doing X, Y, or Z properly in your life, or the way that you should. I mean, who does that really help? Group number 4. Let's just be real here. Then we have Justice. So this person that you need to set boundaries with is a justice-loving person, as long as justice is not served with them. Okay, so they always have something to say about how you or somebody else is doing life, and they always feel like they know exactly what right and wrong is. But when they do something that is stereotypically wrong, it's okay. When they do something that they shouldn't be doing, it's like, well, you know, the circumstances, and there's this reason why I'm doing it and that reason, and it's just, they like to dish it, but they can't take it. They feel like they know what's best for everybody, but when it comes to them, they can do whatever, they can have destructive traits, and it's fine. It just gets basically swept under the rug. So that is the person where you have to set boundaries and distance yourself from them, because they will otherwise most likely have a negative influence on this unexpected opportunity and greatness coming into your life. Then we have the black tourmaline. So we have a lot of black here. Black is very absorbent, but black also covers a lot of things up. I want you to know here in the black tourmaline that you have to protect your energy. Again, that factor of absorbing, yeah, that factor of being able to absorb energies, of being able to take other people's vibrations in, is very high next week. So make sure that you're protective of your energy, your environment, and just your mental sanity, honestly, group number 4. What else can I say? These energy vampires can really make you go nuts and can really deprive you of beautiful moments and experiences in your lifetime, which we of course don't want. But let's move a little further into your reading so we can figure out what else is coming. Then we have the lepidolite. So in the lepidolite, one thing that I can see here is moving back into remembering the dreams that you had as a kid. So maybe as a kid, you wanted to be an astronaut or a doctor or a vet. I mean, I know that I always thought for the longest time I would be a vet, which I am obviously not, but I still really love animals, and that is still something that I put into my daily life, my daily ritual. So by recalling your childlike wonderment, the things that you wanted to do as a child that were important to you as a child, you can really get to the core and the root of who you are. Because one day I looked around and I thought to myself, if I really love animals, why am I eating them, right? Why am I doing things here that cause more animals harm than it does good, when it's an easy switch for me to just say no and to just use vegan alternatives? So that was one thing that I brought from childhood kind of memories, from things that were important to me at the core of who I am ever since being a little kid. That's something that I still do every day, and I'm grateful every day that I have the opportunity to say no to meals that are prepared with animals that were defenseless, that didn't have a choice but to die for me to, for instance, have a sandwich, when I could be perfectly fine and survive without that. So that is my personal choice. That is where I recalled something from my past past that I've always wanted to do, and I'm still in a way contributing, right? A vet helps animals get well. A vet helps animals in need, and I'm contributing in my way by taking good care of my pets and by trying to harm as little animals as possible. So of course, doing things in a cruelty-free way, trying to just limit your consumption of anything that has to do with an animal, that is all a contribution. So make that connection with yourself and allow yourself to draw parallels from what was important to you at the core of your being when you were this child that didn't have any of these societal standards pushed up on them and just forced upon them, and the purest form of yourself. Bring that back out. Then we have the Ace of Wands. So in the Ace of Wands, I see that you're probably right now, you have a lot of passion to get back to that root. You have a lot of passion to think of how you can incorporate that thing that you really loved as a child, or those things, you know, plural. It could be a whole plethora of different things that were important to you. And I can see here in the Ace of Wands just this determination to bring that back in, to be passionate about things again, to have that almost like a kid, that fierce mentality of doing what it takes in order to make the world a better place and in order to connect with what you truly desire and not have any boundaries between you and your dreams. Then we have the 8 of Fire as well as the 9 of Fire. We have a lot of fiery energy here for you. We have the 5 of Fire up here as well. Group number 4, if you are a fire sign, for instance in Aries, I want you to know, like, this is a great week for you. This is your week. If you're not a fire sign, know that emotions can run really high when you're charged with this fire sign energy. If you're not a fire sign, it can be hard to handle that kind of energy because it's foreign to you. It's a supercharged type of intensity that you're not used to. And I want you to know here in the 8 of Fire that just allowing yourself to watch those emotions is probably best, as in the 9 of Fire we have quick progression towards almost completion of a project or something that you've been looking to do, something that you've been looking to bring into your life. So don't try and force things or try and slow things down. For instance, if you feel like hold up, things are moving too quickly in this relationship or at work, don't try and fight against it. Don't try and go against the current. Try and just flow with it, because at the end of the week you're going to realize that if you would have gone against the current, you probably wouldn't have had a very favorable outcome for you. And then we have abundance next. So group number 4, in abundance, I want you to know here we have the Hunter Moon, which is all about just enough of everything being around. So enough financially, being able to get through another week, especially if the current economic circumstances and situation has hit you in a very difficult way and you don't know how you're going to get through the next week. Know that help is on its way, abundance is on its way, and you're going to make it to the end of the next week. You're going to find a way. And I know it's maybe not that much consolation when looking into the future or just having to deal with a lot of difficult things at this point in time, but another week that you can get through, another week of feeling like your life actually is abundant is still a win, right? So let's take it as a win. And then last but not least, we have the Waning Gibbous 3, which is all about that personal equilibrium. We spoke about that at the beginning when we spoke about why you may have chosen the Cognac Calcite. And if you're interested in bringing this stone into your life physically, I will leave the link down below. I handpick all of the stones and make sure that they're awesome quality. Also, the ones from my store are like 4 times the size of this, just for your information. So in the Waning Gibbous 3, I want you to know here that balance is what the result is of the end of next week. More balance and more of this feeling like life is happening for you, not to you. Things are happening for your benefit, especially this big unexpected event is going to give you that symbol that you needed, that is showing you that there is actually a higher power here that's looking out for you and that cares about you. And that brings you back into balance, and it restores kind of your faith in life as well as humanity, which, I mean, we all just need that during difficult times, don't we? So group number 4, we're at the end of your reading about your upcoming week. If you made it all the way to the end, leave a little seahorse emoji down below, because that's exactly what we have depicted here in the Ace of Water. And I just hope that this reading gave you a little bit of peace of mind, a little bit of motivation, as well as insight that you so much needed. And I would like to thank you for sharing this space with me today. I wish you an amazing, fabulous upcoming week, and I'll see you in my next video.